New intro there.
I knew it. I was going to call you out. A little more sports vibe.
Yeah. Episode 112, Joel Fleischman Happy Hour Podcast. We have Joel here. We have Ron Cutter, and we have Nick Holm from Cutter and Vac, or Cutter Vac Home Center. So appreciate you guys coming from Fond du Lac today.
Cheers, guys. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Ron, I understand you're a summer shady guy.
Oh, big time.
Year round?
If I could get it, yeah.
Really? Yeah. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for having us.
I like summer shandy, but not particularly in the winter. This is a summer bra for me. So.
Well, I go to Florida in the winter, so that's.
So what do you drink in Florida?
Free beer is best, but if I can find this.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had a local limey kind of drink in Florida.
Yuengling,
sure. Yeah, of course. You need
that's good stuff.
The spotted cow of the East Coast, right? Because you can't get it here. Still not sure if it's good. You just can't get it here, so it tastes good. Yeah, but I'm a go-to. If I'm on Florida, East Coast, I'll drink a Yuengling. Sure, I'll pair that up too. Yeah. Makes sense. I like some of the local Florida beers. Obviously, everybody's got local beers, so it seems Florida's pretty good at it.
Well, welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Do you guys want to kind of go? We were talking, I know, a little bit off air here before we got started. Ron, do you want to kind of just give brief kind of high-level overview of how Cutter Vac and the home center and everything got all kind of started? You were kind of touching on about your father, but you want to just dive into that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So the history of Cutter Vac actually goes back to 1949. And when I first started back in 82 for my dad, we were vacuums.
I was in Fond du Lac. Always in Fond du Lac?
Always in Fond du Lac.
Always in Fond du Lac, I assume.
He had, Sheboygan, Beaver Dam.
But that was your base camp. Okay.
Base camp, yeah. And as the years went on, we took on the Central Vacuum Systems, and that got us...
Wait, 82 or 49? 1949, you were doing vacuum cleaners?
No. I'll try
that went really quick. No, that's okay.
49 started vacuums, yes.
Yeah.
82, I came to work for my dad. In 93, we added Central Vacuum Systems.
So in 82, you were doing vacuums?
Just vacuums, retail.
Yeah, retail. 70 hours a week, Sundays, Saturday afternoons, that sort of thing? What brand?
Back then, Dad started out Kirby. I mean, he'd come out knocking on your door.
Yeah, I remember the Kirby guy coming to our house. So they would come, for those that are much younger than me and you, Ron, they would come to your house, and that was a full-blown demonstration to the wife. Unbelievably priced. And it was really that knock-on-the-door sales pitch of, here's your current one. I'm throwing a box of Frosted Flakes down, and we're going to vacuum out, right? Or whatever that was.
Throw a bunch of dirt. If you want to clean, you got to buy it,
Yeah, kind of, right? Like, that's the only way we can get it out now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you were actually knocking door to door yourself?
I did a little tiny bit of that, but that wasn't for me.
What a way to learn.
Yeah, you got it.
That's School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. But then Central Vacs in 93, bought my dad out in 97, and we really took off with the Central Vacs. In fact, at one time in Fond du Lac, probably 50% of the new homes built had our Central Vacs in them.
Which is a tremendous market share, again, for anybody from Drexel. We think we have between 2 and 3% of market share in the major towns we're in.
Wow.
Right? I mean, it's very small. So 50% market share is huge.
Yeah, we were just everywhere. We were flying. Housing market crash hit. So then we got into the air duct cleaning in 2008, radon mitigation 2010, and that we did for a very long time. And then I always have a meeting with all the guys, individually take them out for a supper and that. And Nick has been with me since 2012, and I'm used to hearing when I go out with him, hey, how do you like your job? And I love it. I'm going to be here forever. Last year, he says, well, I've been doing the same thing for 12 years, and I'm getting a little tired of it. And I'm like, I can't lose Nick, So he had interest in getting more into the construction field. Also, at the same time, in the back of my head, I wanted to build a couple of places as investment as I get closer to retirement age. So we meshed it together, and we actually started a new company, which is Cutter Homes. And Nick is our project manager, and you guys are a major partner and helped us make it happen. You made it easy.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, very unique story, which is really cool. Back to, for me, I just have Central Vac questions. One, is that still popular? Again, for the guy that sells it, right? Like I'm asking if
it's come a long way.
What's he supposed to say? No.
Yeah.
Right?
It sucks.
Yeah. There you go.
Sorry.
I have a bowling fake shirt. The vacuum cleaner. It sucks, right?
Yeah.
We suck.
Yeah.
But it has come a long way in just a short amount of time. Yeah. See, even since I started, what did you say? 2012.
2012. Yeah.
Yeah. When did Idaho's come out?
Well, it was out then, but we just didn't like it because there was a lot to work out. Yeah, but they've refined it, and now it's called the Chameleon, and I'll let you talk.
Yeah, HP came out with their version of the Haida hose, which is the chameleon system, and you're able to cover much more of the house with a retractable hose.
And you still do vacuums?
Oh yeah, there we go.
I didn't know you still do vacuums. What brand of vacuums you sell?
Simplicity, Riccar, Mila,
Oh, Riccar.
Sebo.
Okay. And I'm more of a West Bend guy. I live in Kewaskum, so I buy the Riccar from the local boys in West Bend.
Yeah, Lee and Jimmy, I know.
Oh my gosh. Vacuum guy savants, right? Like, I'm sure you guys are too. I mean, I walk in there, they remember me from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about that local customer service vibe.
Yeah.
Cool dudes, right? And
Yeah.
they shoot it square. You know, like, hey, you didn't maintain it. I got to charge you. I don't got to charge you.
Yeah.
It's this much. It's a Riccar. It's way expensive, but you're going to love it. Like, I love that kind of customer service, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I bought my vacuum 4 years ago, and you literally know what color my vacuum is. Like, this is insane, right? So, what has changed in the central vac technology? You know, to me, central vac, I had it in my house, and this is a good conversation if it's okay, right? And it's good to talk to people in or out of it, right? I mean, it is what it is. What I didn't like when I had mine was the hose was kind of a pain in the butt. By the time I dragged the freaking hose out, I'm like,
That was the number one.
it was like, ugh, by that time I'm just going to get a Riccar, have a nice vacuum, let that whole technology die, because it was just like, ugh. I love the little thing underneath the kitchen.
Retractable hoses.
Oh, is that what
Yeah.
happens now? Okay, is that what
You just go to the wall and you grab it and you pull it
take
out.
as much as you need?
We do have a video there somewhere on our homepage.
CutterVac.com for those of you
Yeah.
interested. We're looking at it now for those of you listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's basically
home.
you kind of pull it as you need it, right?
Okay, now scroll down.
Yeah,
you
can pull
do.
up to
That makes
50
sense.
feet out.
Okay.
Compared to your old style of hose that was
Not
30,
loading,
35.
Yeah,
Now you
yeah.
can get up to 50 feet, and
Okay.
it sucks back into the wall.
Right. Okay.
So they took care of their number one complaint, which
Yeah, it
was
was. It
hose
felt-
management.
It filled up the whole freaking entry closet, right? It was like,
Right.
what am
Yeah.
I doing? And then you're scratching walls and a whole bunch of other stuff.
But
Busting would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Think of this. That central vacuum is out in the garage or down in the basement. And so when you're vacuuming, 100% of the dust leaves your house. Every single vacuum, as good as they are, the Riccars, the Milas, when you're vacuuming, some dust is getting back into
Right.
the air and you're breathing that then.
Yeah,
you
correct.
know.
Right. You're not
So-
trapping all of it.
You've got the good stuff of that for the cleaning ability, and they have super power, but then the convenience, just go to the wall, you pull the hose out, attach it to it.
So being a flooring company, and gosh, they came on for a million other reasons, and you're probably listening for a million other reasons, but it's I just got to say it. So Dyson, we sell carpeting at Drexel, right? We do installed carpeting, and Dyson and carpeting companies do not get along. Do not get a Dyson, right? If you think about it, it's actually opposite results. They're trying to suck the fibers out of the carpet, and they literally do. Please, whatever you do, don't chase the suction. Right, because that's actually a problem, and we actually have had many people come in with their bags full from Dyson on brand new carpet, and they're like, your carpet junk. My whole bag's filled up with your fibers of carpet, and we're like, you're ruining your carpet. And like, I've been doing this a month, my carpet's shot, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you bought a bad vacuum. And they're like, it's Dyson, it's the best, blah 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 blah, right? I'm like, no, it's the worst. Watch your carpet specs, watch your beater bars. Don't beat it up. Think about it. It's beating your product up. So just be really careful. I don't know I'm sure you've had horror stories as well.
To my knowledge, I don't believe, if you have a Dyson vacuum, it voids your carpet warranty, I think.
It does. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. No, I mean, they walk in and they're in tears. It's brand new carpet. And I have to say, yeah, what you're showing me actually is really bad. I agree, but also not the carpet's fault.
Yeah, right.
Have you felt the bristles on the Dysons? They're
Not-
hard as a rock.
Right. Again, but intentionally, right? They're
You're right.
trying to prove I'm going to rip this carpet apart and get everything out of it. That's not really how that's supposed to work.
And then they put it in a canister so you can see exactly how you're ruining your carpet.
It really
Yeah.
is. And for anybody listening, if you're getting fibers in your bag, maybe you think that's normal. It is not. You are not using your carpet, either your vacuum either to the right level or your beater bar set too high. Something's going on. You'll wreck your carpet with the suction of the Dyson. So kind of understanding that, I think just is an important qualifier.
Yeah.
So let's move on, because I'm sure you didn't come on here to talk warranties of carpet and vacuums.
You're on Vacuum 101. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I love it.
First time listener, first time caller.
I have linoleum in my floor in my kitchen.
So I know you guys are working with Connor Kissinger as your quarterback. I guess you touched on a little bit with Nick project managing. So how did you get connected with us then? You know, with that idea of like, hey, we're going to go do some properties, and how did you get connected with Drexel?
Guy came in the store, good friend of mine, Larry, and he. What's Larry's last name? So we're best friends.
Larry Shaver?
No. I used to ATV with him years ago. It'll come to me. But anyways, he came in.
Hi, Larry. How you doing?
Yeah. Call in, Larry.
Yeah.
But anyways, he came in and we were talking. And he just said how awesome you guys were. And so we just made a blind call. I talked to Nick Whitty, and he put me to Connor, and we says, hey, we're doing this. And what can you do for us? And he was enthused, you know, and so we had a meeting out here. They showed us about the panelized construction, and that's perfect for a new builder, you know. Made it real easy, and away we went.
I got to correct. It's not panelized. It's offsite.
Offsite.
So it's offsite. That's
Offsite.
okay. I'm trying to refer to that in vacuum terms. Like, what would you not want to hear? It's like saying it's a Dyson. It's like, no, it's not a Dyson. It's offsite.
Yeah.
We call it offsite because panelization really has failed in our industry.
Oh, good.
Panelization really was wall assembly.
Okay.
And wall assembly does not save you any money. It's really quickly done. Like Marcus and I could be trained to assemble a wall on site.
Yeah.
It really didn't save the builders any money. And that's been around since the 1970s, and that's why it didn't work, was panelization. Offsite means we do turnkey framing, as you guys know, pre-built steps, windows into walls, so it's a package. Where panelization a lot of times just meant walls. Sorry, get away. I can't get away without always. I've corrected on 112 episodes. I've corrected that a dozen times.
Yeah.
So
You
don't
wouldn't
feel
believe
bad.
how many people come in and say, my cutter doesn't work.
Yeah, correct. That's great. Yes.
My wife says the same thing.
You're like, sure. Oh my gosh. Well, here we go.
Good.
There's pills made for that. So all right, moving on. Inching along. You bring a vacuum salesman in. You know, this is the shit we're gonna do. You got a carpet salesman here and a vacuum salesman. I mean, could it be any worse?
So you got one house already in progress, or is it complete?
Almost complete. We close on it a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So how has, again, first time going through that? How was the whole process?
Yeah, it's been really nice from the beginning. Connor was really good. Devin with flooring was excellent. John also great with cabinets. Everybody's been really, really helpful.
You guys use the VDC process or virtual design services? Did
Yes.
you use that? And then you do that, and again, this is a spec home, right, for sale, a speculative home,
Right.
a model home that you're trying to, also called a pre-build, right? So I'm not sure how the terms you guys use, but a pre-build house, that's kind of more of a Madison term. So why did you use virtual design consulting, right? I mean, you guys didn't have to visualize it. You're in the trades. Why did you use that service?
Well, it sold the house for us, absolutely. We got some folks, friends of friends, as they say, that were looking for a home, some new people coming to town, and we could give them the virtual walkthrough of that house, and they could see what that house was going to be like, and we just had studs up. I mean, it was just barely closed in, and they said, "Yeah, we want this. This is just what we're looking for."
Which is amazing, right? So it's avoiding two different things. The biggest risk of selling that is how long your construction goal is going to last, right? Mm-hmm. Your profit's going to end up in the interest. You were able to do that, and also sometimes it's really a dangerous thing of the owner coming in at the stud style level, because now they make it into a custom house, right? So hopefully you avoided that as well.
We did.
So again, I promised I wasn't going to make this into an infomercial, but here we are, right? So I mean, you can't get a better testimonial.
Well, I think, but again, they started off with it right, and you're just elaborating on what the rest of it can be.
I literally have goosebumps. Like, that stuff just geeks me out when a builder can say, "Hey, that helped us sell the house." Like, I just don't know if it gets any better than that for a supplier.
Yeah, and how seamless. You said, like, hey, we were referred by Drexel. We came in here, we saw the offsite and what it was, and now that worked out. And now, again, going to the selling stage, like, how it's working like you envisioned it, right? Which is always great to hear.
And by the way, I got to call out Larry Conger.
Larry Conger.
Oh, yes. Hi, Larry. Yeah.
And you guys just got done from being down the street now, from talking with those guys.
Yep.
So, I mean, what kind of house number two?
Yep.
What kind of is the long-term vision? I know you said it was kind of like some rental properties and things as you continue to go along here. But is there any set goal you have where each year we're looking at this many, or is it just kind of one or twosies here as we go?
Yet to be determined, but we anticipate probably having 2 houses going at a time within a number of months. You know.
When we first sat down and talked about this, we thought, 6 to 8 a year would be a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take to get to that point, but yeah, right now 2 to 3 a year is probably manageable.
That's awesome.
At least just for us two. I'm doing the
He's doing a
majority of
lot.
the work.
Sure.
So,
He's doing everything.
besides the 3 major subs, you got your electricians, HVAC, plumber,
Vacuum.
and vacuum.
Yeah. So you are putting the tool belt on yourself. On this.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
swinging the hammer.
Yeah. So 2 or 3 is definitely probably the top level, I would say, as well. To get to 6 or 8, you're going to have to turn into more of a project manager for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. And that's where we hope to grow it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and that won't be that hard. I mean, you guys understand the trades, and it's all just scheduling, quality control management. That really is what it is, right?
Right.
And making sure all the subs understanding they're building the house.
Yep.
I think that's great. But you
Yeah.
guys already have been in the trades forever, so you understand that.
That's what's nice about starting right now is we've had these relationships with all these
Yeah.
subs. We're seeing them, multiple times a week. So
Yeah.
now we're using the best guys.
That's very cool.
I guess digging a little bit more, kind of touching on how like you guys had that meeting, go to dinner, and Nick's kind of like, well, I'm looking at doing something different. Here's what I'm kind of looking at doing. You had this in the back of your head. How long, from both of your standpoints, was this like an interest of being a project manager, getting in kind of to the housing market that way?
I would say at least a couple of months before I had even mentioned anything to him. And I think that's probably the same for you.
Yeah, it was longer than that for me. For the last year, I had been toying with the idea of building some, investment properties, and just wasn't able to put anything together. And I just thought I would have somebody build it for me, and then it kind of morphed into, well, why don't I just build it ourselves? And I'd have Nick general it for me, and then it just got bigger because he had interest in it. So
Yeah.
now we're where we are.
Not
I've got to go ahead.
I was just going to say, not to keep laboring on it, but was it really when Larry had walked in the door and said about Drexel where it was like, that was the, okay, this is, or was that kind of when it really kind of turned into something?
I probably picked Larry's brain a little bit on, hey, you've done this, help me out. Is this something we could do?
Yep.
And he directed me to you guys,
Okay.
and said, yeah, you'll talk to them and you'll like it.
Just like selling vacuums, referrals are everything, right?
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
just are. It's we always say it's we aren't looking for builders that like us. It's builders that love us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said the difference between that like and love is a huge thing, right? If I like a restaurant, and I always use Demos in Plymouth, which is a pizza joint when I talk about this, right? If I like Demos and I hear you guys are going to Plymouth, if you ask, I might reference them. If I live in Plymouth and I like the restaurant, I might go there a few times a year. If I love the restaurant, I hear you go to Plymouth, I'm literally making the reservations for you, right? I'm like, talk to Rosie, get the pizza with the green onions. I'll just call. What time are you guys going to be there, right? That's when you love a place, right? If you just like it and you're transactional, and it's hard to get anybody, customers, to love you, but I think that's what we're focusing on. Do the builders love us? And I think we struggled with that at Drexel for 10, 15 years. We had tons of builders that liked us, right? They wore the hoodies, they had the hats, but they didn't love us. They bought some from us, right? They came by a restaurant once in a while. A lot of them were very loyal-ish versus you're not going to buy any lumber anywhere else. You're crazy if you do. These guys literally, and a little bit was our price. Our price was a little high, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got a little fat, right? Or just didn't get tight. Part of, I've said it for the last 2 years, part of great customer service is a great price too. Because if you can add your services in plus the price, that's when that love kind of takes over, right? So we're trying to really to do, and that's, as Marcus knows, that's what I work on every day, is working directly with manufacturers and having them sell us direct. Again, promised it was going to make to an infomercial, but I'm just spewing it out.
No, but it's no
Yeah.
different in terms of, Joel has shared this on the podcast too, about Offsite, as well too. Like, it's obviously been a work in progress, and knock on wood, we're hitting obviously a great stride right now. But again, like, it's one of those things where you always use the Busch Light and IPA example, right?
Yeah.
Of we tried pushing it on everybody, like, hey, everybody got to do this, you got to do this. And some people that were Busch Light drinkers are like, I don't want that IPA, right? Like, I just want to do what I'm doing right now. But other people are like, hey, this is the way to go. This is awesome. This works for me.
Yeah,
this works for
back
us.
to vacuums, right? I mean, not everyone's goes to a local vacuum company, right?
Right.
And you aren't going to sell to everybody. You got to kind of get past that, right? Or not everybody wants a central vac. You just kind of have to get through that.
You have to pick your herd.
Yeah, pick your herd. I think Ron's got a wealth of knowledge. I want to make sure we pick it in this limited time frame.
Sure.
What are your and Nick, you can help him too if he doesn't remember. I have a feeling you have a lot of isms, a lot of things Ron says and does, a lot of, I can just sense it, a lot of little one-liners, quotes, things that drive your company. Kind of a tough question to say on the spot, but what are, like, and Nick might be able to help even more, what are things you say over and over in your company that might help other companies?
Your competition has very little to do with your success.
I love that one. Explain that a little more.
You just put out a good product with a good price, and that will, like, if I can give a little story, there's a real nice other vacuum store in Fond du Lac, and I'm very good friends with them. When my dad was running the company, they would put newspaper ads in just to tick off the other guy. Had zero chance of bringing in a customer, but that was the way the industry was. You just attacked the other vacuum store. Instead, now we work together, and we've both come up. I mean, we're both doing really well, just helping each other and
well, and again, at this point, you are a niche company, right? It's no
Absolutely.
longer everyone buys from a local vacuum cleaner.
Correct.
You're fighting much other forces outside that universe.
Way bigger places,
Yeah, just different Walmarts, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you're chasing the same kind of thing. But yeah, I love that. I like to think that too. Sometimes that we get really obsessed with our competition, but also I'm like, is that helping the local builder? You know, people are always like, why don't you, put more job site signs out? We do all that, right? But it's like, well, is that just ego and pride for us, or again pissing off the competition, or is it actually helping the builder out? Because I don't think the builder cares, right?
Right. Yeah.
Does anybody care that it says Cutter on the vacuum?
Yeah.
Like that's a great pride for you guys. I'm not sure that's helping you sell more cutters, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Nick, what's something that he brings up a lot over and over, a mantra that's kind of developed in your company?
I can't think of one.
That's okay. I know it's like putting you on the spot, so I like the one. We can move on. We're good. Hope he does.
Any business is a team. That is true. It does say that.
Yeah, go with that. Expand that, both of you. So what did you say? Go ahead, say it again, Nick.
Any business is a team. We've been in, business, me and Ron together for 12 years, and it feels very much more like a family than it does as a business.
Like our Centrovac company that we deal with, we go to, they'll put on a meeting, and you go there and you get, the rah-rah.
Yeah.
We come back fired up because they're our friends. We know the people that are building them because they take us on the tours, and you get to know those guys, and you got your reps and your salespeople. But our Centrovac company, we absolutely love them because it's a team. They're out for our success.
So let's expand that, right? Because I think when you said business is a team, I think probably everybody listening, because I know I was, you were talking you and your employees. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Well,
but you're not talking about that. You're talking the whole
everything.
chain. That's what I mean. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
When you say that, you mean
everything.
From our supplier down to the installer.
Yeah. When you say business as a team, you're saying, hey, no, holistically, whoever helps us.
Absolutely.
And they're part of the team.
And that's also includes customers.
Right. Yeah,
we're a
for
team with the customer.
Yeah,
So.
I think if you don't think you're a team with the customer, you're doing it wrong too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and their feedback is definitely warranted.
100%.
Right.
I guess what keeps you guys up at night? Anything from now jumping into the housing market, or even things that just in your day to day with what you guys have been doing for a long time? Is there anything that you're like, oh, this is coming up, or I really worry about closing dates?
Closing dates.
Yeah.
At least on the first one.
Yeah.
It's been keeping me up a little bit.
No, I think every builder, I think it's good to talk about closing dates. We laugh, but yet, that's a critical junction, right? Because that person will not have somewhere to live, right?
Correct.
Right, and so what are you going to do?
Yep.
And
it's gotta get done.
Yes, in any trade, and now that you're seeing it as the builder for the first time, right? Any trade closer to the finish line is more vulnerable.
Correct.
Right? Countertop installers, the HVAC companies. I always said if I had to do it again, I'd be the foundational guy or the concrete guy, right? They can delay anything 4 to 8 weeks. Who gives a shit?
Yep.
Right.
Sorry, Chris Cardinal and all the guys listening to that foundation and concrete guys, but it's kind of true. The closer you get to that deadline, the more that stress and that schedule becomes super real, right? And it doesn't sort of work, and it has to work.
If you don't have the checklist on day to day, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and how do you, it's interesting, it's your first house, but you can't crack a whip either, I think in the 80s and 90s when I started, I think builders could just crack a whip. People will balk at that, they'll just freak out.
There's other people that'll hire them, It's
that, or just people, and again, maybe they're just more respectful, maybe it's a better thing, right?
Sure.
I mean, it used to be a lot more done of just F-bombs and threats, and you are working all day Saturday to finish this. Guys just won't show up on Saturday. That's not a real thing anymore, right? Nights and weekends were fairly normal in our industry to get jobs done. Friday's gonna, like you said, if you don't stay on it, Friday's gonna turn to the next Friday before you know it.
Yep.
So how do you think you'll mitigate that going forward?
So what I did at the very beginning, before we even dug the hole, is I threw a schedule together. This is what day they're gonna dig. This is what day the HVAC guys are gonna come to rough. This is what day they're gonna come to finish, and very loosely based. But we've stayed on track. Besides, so the buyer wanted to add a basement in the bedroom, or a bedroom in the basement. That pushed us back maybe 2 weeks at the most. But I redid the schedule right after that, sent it out to all the subs. I don't know if they're looking at it or not, but...
And what did you use to that? Just a Google Doc, or you got a software for it, or?
For the schedule itself,
Yeah,
right
just
off my
Word.
head.
Yeah.
Oh,
Word,
right, yeah, I
Word.
used Word.
Yeah,
but-
just Word. Yeah.
yeah.
We use Google, so it'd be Google Sheets. But something to consider would be Builder Trend. Not when you're doing two, but if you get to that 6 or 8, a lot of builders use Builder Trend. Well, you probably are familiar with that. But be careful with that, obviously. You guys know that. Junk in, junk out. If you're not updating it, the subs won't do it.
Right.
And even trading, I think, your subcontractors is important of how to use it and why to use it. And if when you get a notification that it changes, for your company, it's real, right? Because so many subs don't use it at its capacity. So the ones that do have a wild success ratio with it.
There are probably 2 or 3 builders that we've dealt with throughout the years that have used schedules just like what we did.
Yeah.
And so we decided right in the beginning, we appreciated that. They say you're coming June 10th. And maybe you get that update. We don't need you till the 15th now, but we knew. And when I'd get that, it went up on our old-fashioned calendar up on the wall. That's where we write the job, so you can look at it all at once. It went there. And so we knew we were coming on that day. And I think other subs would appreciate that. That's
Well,
what we
I
did.
think that's a huge thing, not just from an organizational standpoint. Homeowners like to know that. They aren't calling you. I think some builders don't always show the homeowners that and freak out. I think it's the opposite. They're going to call you 1,000 times if you don't tell them, so just be transparent.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that goes a long way. And end of the day, all trades are just selling labor. Right, so when you have unknown what the workforce is going to do in 3 weeks, that's stress. When you can say, hey, we're going to do this, and again, boys, we got work through July because I can see the schedule. That's a value, and a value means that tradesman is going to probably take maybe a little less money for you or a little more consistency, whatever that is, maybe a little better crew. I think scheduling is maybe still underrated in our industry. It's come a long ways, obviously, but I think it's still really important, so good for you. Kudos.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well, we didn't like getting it, like calling the night before, hey, we need you tomorrow. You know,
It still
we're
happens.
late on-
We have guys call us.
tomorrow.
We have guys saying, hey, we want trusses in 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you pull a permit, dig a hole, put in the foundation, put up the walls, and now you need trusses? But again, we actually have kind of flipped that. We like to say we need to be organized on their behalf.
Right.
So we try to have weekly project manager meetings with builders to know where they're at. It's not their fault they're not organized. It's our fault that we're not a true team with them, right? We call it partner with them. That's our fault. Like if I don't know where you are next week, that's kind of on me. I should say, hey, but you told me you had a site going on and went by. I need to be organized on your behalf. And again, that to me is like versus love. I noticed you were out of Shandy. Would you like another one? Oh my gosh, I am. Yeah, please, right? Like that's where the love starts.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between transactional and love. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. That makes sense, Marcus?
Yep. Is there anything you guys do to kind of get better in terms of life and in terms of obviously leading company and thing like that, or project managing? Anything you guys do in terms of books or listening to things or reading things, anything like that?
Hang out with people.
Hang out with people,
Yeah.
mentors or anything like that?
Books are good, but who's got time to read? But I like some books. But I think our foundation is God, family, and then work. So work is really important, but God and family come first.
Yeah, I love that. I'm God, family, work as well. So, and I think that's real. I just had a bunch of experiences this week that, if you really do put your faith in God, it's stuff weird, crazy, fun, stressful stuff happens, right? But I think it's hard to let go, and you just want to think you can put the plow to the field and outwork everybody. And I think a lot of times God's telling you you're trying way too hard, which sounds counterintuitive. Right, because hard work. Work hard, have fun was our mantra for a long time.
Sure.
I'm not sure that's always the case. I think you need balance too.
Isms. Jesus loving, beer drinking, family man who likes to work and hang out with people.
He's my dude. He's my dude. He's my dude. That's pretty good. Yeah, that could be a tattoo. It's for sure a country song. Multiple country songs. Every country song. Yeah. We just missed pickup trucks and girls.
Luke Combs is the next big hit right there.
Yeah. I think that's been done. I think it's been tried to be. That'll be every country song forever.
Yep.
Right? I'll still listen to them, so that's great. That's great.
Well, we're at a half hour here. Why don't you guys give us your billboard? So you have one billboard, everybody can kind of see it. What's it saying? Why? Could be personal, work related, family related, whatever it is. Start with Ron.
Okay. I love you, man. You know, it's just all about team. I thought about that, and I couldn't come up with a big thing to sell us other than we're team players with our customers, with our employees, with our suppliers. You can't do it without a team. And our employees, I often call my guys co-workers because I don't think of myself as their boss. We're co-workers, you know. And so it's just important. And with the customer, I'm not the salesman. I tell people this all the time. I'm the world's worst vacuum cleaner salesman, or just worst salesman, because I just want this to work for you, and if it doesn't, I don't feel good about that.
Which might make him the best, right? I don't think people want to be sold to, right? They want to be educated and make good choices, especially in today's age. Maybe there was a point for a curvy salesman 50 years ago.
Maybe so.
People are probably more educated when they walk into your stores than we are sometimes, right? Especially in the home building industry. I always say if they ask the warranty and they want to know details, they already know. They're just setting you up to fail. So we've actually taken a different step on training. We don't train to retention on warranties and details of micrometers of things, because I'm like, that's all Googleable in real time. Like, oh, good question, I can look it up for you, right? Yeah. And everything's a limited lifetime warranty anyway. It's more about being genuine, authentic, being responsive, finding out the answers when they need it, and again, being authentic, which I think you are. So I love it, because I think it's the more authentic you are, the more closer to the true version of yourself. God never made a mistake, so everyone's amazing. And I think we try to be other people, and God just wants you to be yourself. And my favorite people on the planet, I think for all of us, are the most authentic, right? What videos go viral? What coaches do we love? It's when they're real. Right? And when the more real they are, the more we love them. It's crazy. Probably why we don't like politicians, right?
Probably so. Yeah.
I almost got away with a whole podcast.
Yeah, we were close.
It's going to get uglier before November. We're going to have to do some daily political ones. Might lose some customers, might not. Don't give a shit. I am who I am. Go ahead, Nick.
I would say be kind. People are going to jump more for the guy that is nice on site than the guy that's a dick.
Yeah. No, and I just think in life, right, how can you get in trouble for being kind, right?
Right.
Got to have more of that in this world right now. There's enough fights going on. So love that. Thank you very much. Guys, thanks for coming on.
So much
that
fun.
went super quick.
Yeah, it did.
These guys were great.
Yeah, awesome.
If you need a vacuum in Fond du Lac or a central
air duct
vac,
cleaning,
radon mitigation, right?
Yeah.
Cutter Vac and Home Center.
A nice spec house.
Yeah. Well, I can't always.
Supplied by Drexel.
I can't always say that because I'm like, well, I don't know if I should say it. It's like some of the girls I dated in college. They liked everybody. Right. So I'm kind of the same.
112. We're out.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Peace and love. Out.